Set to debut on July 5th through 6th, July 12th through the 13th, and July 19th through the 20th. The Pass the Mic Tour Las Vegas residency will be a musical extravaganza unlike anything the Strip has ever seen before. With DJ Cassidy, along with the likes of Ja Rule, Fat Joe, Slick Rick, and Dougie Fresh, will be taking center stage, uniting as the Rap Pack to deliver an unforgettable showcase and experience unlike anything that's been seen here in Las Vegas. DJ Cassidy will recreate the magic of old school Vegas entertainment with a modern hip-hop twist. For more information on show dates and tickets, call 702-221-1200.
More fire, more heat. You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Giving you that green. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Always spitting that explosive fire.
Vegas Scoreboard Express back at you live. JP the Ticket here in Las Vegas. It is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I got him in studio with me, my main man, Darrell Harris. He's a dad. Didn't bring Bassy today, but we're going to be talking a little bit more NBA, some WNBA, Major League Baseball. Good morning to you. And again, all you dads out there in Las Vegas, got some great deals over at KSHP.com. Shout out Mark Hayes, the host of The Shopping Show. Had a great show yesterday with him on the NBA and talking about that hockey. We were able to take down the cash yesterday with the Mets. Shout out Daniel Cameron, D Sports Ledger. We were able to take down money with the Atlanta Braves. But unfortunately, I warned you guys about those Florida Panthers. Now, I did like them in the dog position, but they got wiped, and we did cash out with the over. So again, when we get back from this short commercial break, going to be having John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook at rotowire.com. Stop by the big board, get some of his opinions on this NBA Finals, talk a little bit of NHL, some NBA, and just get ready to enjoy this Father's Day. So you guys keep it locked here with me, Darrell Harris, KLAS, CBS 8, and the DHoopUniversity podcast. You can follow him over on Instagram at DHoopster. So you keep it locked here with me, JB the Ticket, and Vegas Scoreboard Express. This Father's Day, we got to get that money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Giving you that grease.
In times of war and peace, the men and women of our military dedicate themselves to serving our country. We salute those who have given their lives for our country. Their sacrifice will never be forgotten. This salute is courtesy of Mac and Grill Cheese Factory, serving our area with quality and pride. For a fantastic meal, stop by 1331 West Warm Springs Road in Henderson, or call them at 725-214-4140. That's 725-214-4140. Mac and Grill Cheese Factory, on the air reminding everyone that we live in the land of the free thanks to our brave.
Basketball season is heating up, so stay in the game with Fubo TV. Get the NBA, NCAA, FIBA, and more. Get 7 days free at VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Don't get cabled. Get Fubo TV.
Yo. You're in the mix. World's finest, man.
Back at you live, JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. 107.1 FM, AM 1400. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I've got a special guest for you here on the line today. John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook RotoWire.com, a senior writer and contributor. Good morning, John. How you doing?
I'm doing good, JD. How are you?
Doing good, man. Glad to have you back on the line again this Father's Day Sunday, June 16th. Here on a Vegas Scoreboard Express, we've been having quite the day here over the past couple of weeks. Been picking up quite a few more wins in the NBA. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the NBA Finals. The Dallas Mavericks were able to keep their season alive for at least one more night. And the reality of that situation is that they have to win quite a few games, going 3-0 in the next three to even sniff at that championship. So my question to you is, John Ryan, do you think there's any chance for the Dallas Mavericks to maybe get an extra win here? Because when you look at the matchup overall, it seems to be Luka Doncic and everybody else. We haven't really seen Kyrie Irving do too much. Been kind of pedestrian, and then that team win by committee that got them to this point out of the Western Conference, as we talked about, the PJ Washingtons of the world and the like, they're just not getting it done for them. So, with that being said, do you think Boston sweeps it up tomorrow and wins this one 3-1, putting cash in your pocket and finishing out our NBA season for us? Jason Tatum and the crew, go ahead.
Is that for me, JB?
Yeah, go ahead, John Ryan.
Yeah, okay. I think actually they're going to return to Dallas. I'm pretty bullish on Dallas in this situation. The betting market is a little confusing because Boston opened as a 7.5-point favorite. They're now down to 6.5. You would think that the betting flows would be the direct opposite. Going back to Boston 3-1, they obviously didn't care to lose Game 4 by the way they played. I've been very disappointed with how Jason Tatum has been playing. I've been making some good money just betting under on his prop bets. Total points, rebounds, assists. Jaylen Brown is clearly the best player on that team right now. So I don't know how this is going to pan out in Game 5. Obviously, the pressure is going to become immense on Boston if this thing actually does get to a Game 7. But we'll have to take it one step at a time and see how it goes. But I think Dallas is really going to put up a big fight, and I like the points.
There you go. He likes Dallas in the points. Going over to you, Darrell Harris. We talked about this. You thought that the Mavericks were going to win Game 2. They didn't win Game 2. They got down in Dallas, losing a tough Game 3. And then coming back in Game 4 and fighting for their championship life and making it happen. But you heard John Ryan. He's very bullish on the Dallas Mavericks. Let's give you that rotation number for tomorrow night's action, which you can catch on Fubo TV, giving you 15% off 7 days free. Rotation number 509, the Dallas Mavericks. When you heard my show yesterday, they were plus 7. Now they are plus 6.5, plus 220 on the money line. Boston, rotation number 510, the Celtics, minus 6.5. minus 270. So we saw it early on in the playoffs. We talked about this before, Darrell. You think Boston's going to have a home meltdown and let this series get to 3-2?
I think it definitely could happen. We talked last weekend, and we're locked in on Boston in terms of, nope, this looks like their series. They made their statement in Game 1. We know what they're capable of now that it is actually playing out. Yeah, these rosters are one-sided. If you're going to get this version of Porzingis, it is very, very bad for you, Dallas.
Right.
The thing is, now things are getting tough around the neck. It's we don't have Porzingis right now, or he's a question mark at least game to game. He's playing through an injury a lot of folks haven't heard of, myself included. Dallas is going to get one good game out of Kyrie in Boston. We got a blowout in Game 1. We got a sort of runaway in Game 2. It's put up or shut up time now. Luka Doncic has been back against the wall in the postseason so far in his career. Remember what he did in Phoenix in Game 7 on the road. He beat those boys by more than 30. We've seen what he's done to the Clippers. Boston hasn't finished the job yet, so expect them to have hiccups getting to that finish line. I think that they also take care of it in Game 6.
All right, so Game 6. So you want to give the Mavericks another game here. Now, let's go from a coaching perspective. You got one of the old guard in Jason Kidd for the Mavericks, and you got the new upstart in Joe Mazzulla for the Boston Celtics. Going back over to you, John Ryan, where do you think the coaching advantage comes in? Because when you go back to the Celtics here at home in the Boston Garden, I don't think they want to extend this series unless there's some corporate sponsorship money involved. Again, shout out Mark Hayes for that reference yesterday, but you talk about it from the perspective of coaching. Do you think Jason Kidd, who I don't think ever won a championship as a player, right, Darrell? He didn't.
2010 or 2011, Dallas.
Oh, okay. So he did win a championship with Dallas. Okay. I'm getting a little long in the tooth. So you got a championship head coach going up against the young upstart, Joe Mazzulla. Your thoughts again, John Ryan. Go ahead.
Well, I think looking at some of the coaching trends here out of my database, Jason Kidd is 52-33 against the spread after 2 or more consecutive unders. And I've been betting the under in this whole series. It's not uncommon to see what has happened with the betting markets. We started out with game 1 was the highest total. Then the next game was lower. The next game was lower yet. Next game was lower yet. So we've had 5 in a row, 5 games in a row now priced with a lower total than the previous game. And, the 210.5 right now, I'm still pretty comfortable betting the under. But Jason Kidd, I think, actually, he has the experience. He has the world championship ring. He knows what it takes. Mazzulla is 5-15 against the spread in home games, revenging a same season loss.
Wow.
So that's pretty strong, right? I mean, that's not good.
Yep, sounds like a recipe for a disaster on your ticket. So let's talk a little bit about that total, John. 209.5. Do you think that's going to go up or go down? Would you want to buy that up, say maybe 5 points and still stay with that under? Or do you want to buy it down and think it's maybe going to be a little bit of an over in this game? Again, Darrell, you mentioned this as well. I haven't seen a lot of scoring. And when I saw the Celtics this past weekend, just lay down, go to sleep in Dallas, got some good barbecue, got back on the plane, I didn't expect the Dallas Mavericks on the other side to come in and run the score up the way they did. So it's been kind of a flip-flop. So I'll go to you, John, and then on the total back to you, Darrell. 209.5. How do you play that? Do you want to adjust it? Do you want to leave it where it is with the hook? Or do you think there could be, John has been leaning towards the under, so we'll start with you. Go ahead.
Well, I love doing live betting, and especially in the NBA, and scoring volatility is quite high in any game, let alone the NBA Finals. We've seen periods of time where they're barely scoring 3 points a minute, and we've seen spurts where some of the games have periods of time where they're scoring 6 or 7 points a minute. So it can be up and down. So you got to take advantage of that. So the way I've been playing this, JB, is I bet 60% pre-flop on the under. And then on this particular case, I will look for 214.5 and 217.5 during the first half of action. You remember in game 3, 61 points were scored in that first quarter. And I managed to get both legs of the live bet on the under, and then it went completely south in terms of scoring pace. Right. So that, I think, ended up at 206, and it was a 214.5 line. So I encourage people, do the pre-flop bet, even if it's half your normal bet, and then see what you can get in the first and second quarters. I don't do it in the third or fourth because there's just not enough time left in the game to be right. You do it then, you have to be right almost immediately.
Right.
So, if I don't get the prices, I don't get them, but I'd rather play it that way and take a chance that it's going to be a little bit higher scoring in the first quarter and get those better pricing.
There you go. Talking about that better pricing. We love it here. Want to go over to you, Darrell Harris. Again, that total 209.5. We haven't seen either one of these teams get into a score fest against each other. It is either one's doing the work and the other one's asleep. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think that we've got to see a version of both offenses where they're clicking or at least throwing everything at the wall down the stretch of this game, which leads me to think that it might cross that over, even if you want to get yourself a couple grace points, maybe 207 or so. But whether it's free throws in the final couple minutes or desperation in the second half or a sense of urgency from one of the teams that refuses to go away so you don't get just, somebody dribbling the clock out. I think that, it's an elimination game for Dallas, and Boston has to treat it like we have to play until the final second as well. So I don't think that means teams are going to be hesitant to get shots up in the second half. And so that leads me to think it's going to be an over. We've seen 4 consecutive unders in this series, though. So it's a tough trend to almost go against because it is the postseason. Folks are playing 40-plus minutes.
Right.
You're getting fatigued. You're playing a little sloppy.
Right.
And that's where you do get these massive unders. And I think the elimination game factors into this one, though.
All right. Yeah, we saw that last night in the hockey. Let's move over to a little bit of NHL talk. Again, being brought to you by our friends at Fubo TV. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. You get the 15% off 7 days free. No credit check, no deposit, no hassle. Just everything that you want from a sports perspective. So last night, the Edmonton Oilers took care of business 8-1 in Edmonton. Now they've got to go back out on Tuesday. Stanley Cup Finals back to Florida. Rotation number 019, the Edmonton Oilers, plus 112. Back in that dog position. And the Florida Panthers back at home, minus 134. This is the one that, again, similar to the NBA, Florida giving up a game on the road, now coming back home, trying to close it out. John Ryan, we'll go ahead and start with you here. The Florida Panthers, rotation number 020. Is there any chance that these guys can end the series, or does Edmonton extend that as well? You got a goal total here of 5.5. So the sports bookmakers are not taking into account what happened last night. It seemed like Florida did similar to what Boston did in the NBA a couple of days ago and just laid down and let the Oilers take over. 9 goals scored in that game. Again, Edmonton winning last night 8-1. How do you see this one shaping out? Do you want to continue that overtrend even if you don't take a side in this one? Go ahead, John.
Oh, I think you definitely play the over here. Edmonton's playing a lot better on offense. You may remember they were shut out in one of the first 2 games, scored 1 goal until basically, I think it was the second period of Game 3 that they actually started getting the offense together. When a goaltender as good as Panthers have and given up that many goals, I think he gave up 5 before he was sent to the bench. That does stick with you a while, no matter how good you are. It's kind of almost like a golfer, plays 2 rounds without a bogey in the U.S. Open, which doesn't happen, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Then all of a sudden you take a double bogey, and it's like, oh my God, I'm not as good as I thought. So I think it's a little bit of doubt. I mean, 8-1 is an awful defeat, and I think the momentum carries over. More importantly, the betting market. It's only plus 115 for Edmonton. Now, if the Panthers are this much better than the Edmonton Oilers, why are they this skinny a favorite when everything is on the line to win the Stanley Cup?
Right.
I think the market's telling you to get on Edmonton, and that's who I'm going to be playing.
There you go. So we talk about those Edmonton Oilers trying to make some magic happen. John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook, thank you so much for stopping by the big board today on this Father's Day weekend. Any quick shout-outs before we let you go? I know you got to get over to your Father's Day lunch out in New Jersey. Go ahead.
Thanks for having me on, JB. You can follow me on the X at John Ryan Sports #1, and the new site, which is Winnable, WINIBLE.com/John Ryan Sports. And I have all my databases there and a lot of free stuff, and also the premium VIP subscription plan. So check it out, and we'll talk to you later.
There you go. John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook, in studio with Darrell Harris. When we come back, we're going to jump into some WNBA. The Aces last night going down again to my hometown, New York Liberty. We're going to talk all about it and try to figure out where that cash is at in the women's basketball arena. So you guys keep it locked here with me, JB the Ticket and Vegas Scoreboard Express. Father's Day, all the dads out there giving out the free picks. Shout out my main man, Pop DiBiase, up in heaven, him and his dad. Rocking and rolling in the Celestial Network. My brother Joe up there as well. All the little kids overseas. Well, most of them are grown now, except for the little babies, but Uncle JB is rocking with you. Darrell Harris, any quick shout-outs, and then we'll take you to break. Go ahead.
Yeah, shout out to my pops, man. Happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there listening. Happy Juneteenth coming up this week, folks. Happy Sunday overall. Let's have a great one.
That's it. JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. Stay tuned and let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Giving you that grease. Skip your cable bill this month and join the action with JB and Fubo TV. Get 7 days free, 15% off your first month. No credit check, no deposit, no installation hassle. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. Sign up, download the app, and start watching games.
Enjoy being a subscriber after the first month. Easy cancellation anytime. Regional restrictions apply. Sign up at VegasScoreboardExpress.com.
STN Sports is the only sports betting app you need this season. STN Sports has it all. In-play betting, mobile parlay cards, the Play Plus card to fund and withdraw from anywhere in Nevada, and the latest lines on every game. STN Sports even lets you earn rewards on every bet. Safe and easy betting from your phone or tablet. Go to StationCasinoSports.com or sign up at any Station Casino, Fiesta Wildfire, or the El Cortez. Details at the sportsbooks.
JB, the ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, back at you live. We were just talking to him, Darrell Harris, DHoopUniversity podcast. Again, we were talking about his metadata set. He's up in the top. Got to get him over to VSX Digital Sports Network, put that logo on top. Really push it over the top here with you, brother. But again, talking some WNBA. We were looking at some of the scores yesterday, man. The Aces here at home, man. I don't know what's going on. I know they got some problems, but a few injuries. I didn't think this team was that much different from last year's championship team. I know Chelsea Gray is unfortunately injured at this moment, but I didn't think that she was that all of the glue or that much of the glue to make the train going. I mean, you got Kelsey Plum out there. She was the top scorer in college, you know.
Yeah. No, man, I wrote
Asia Wilson, couple chicks they had.
I wrote a piece that I actually never probably see the light of day, but it was a 5. It was like a season projection for the Aces. Mm-hmm. And one of my 5 predictions was that they weren't going to have the best record in the league.
Oh.
That the road to a three-peat wouldn't be easy because the league is saturated with talent. This was a really, really good rookie class.
Yeah.
Added quality players to about 6, 7, 8 teams. Mm-hmm. Players are playing longer.
Yeah.
Competitiveness is there. It's already a great, batch of players in this league anyway. So it's just that they're seeing that the league is due for expansion. We haven't had a new team since the Atlanta Dream.
There you go. Yeah, that would be good.
It's due.
That would be good. Go ahead.
But no, that's just goes to show that the league that they're playing in right now is the league it's that good. And they're figuring things out. They have a much different roster than last season. Mm-hmm. Outside of just, their heavy hitters still being there, everything else around it pretty much changed. So as things do around the league, it's not as consistent season to season in the W as it is, in some other seasons because a lot of folks will change.
Yeah.
So, now you're going to get Chelsea Gray back soon. She's been active the last couple of games, but just hasn't touched the court yet. She's looking really good. She's been a part of the team the whole season so far. So they're going to love when that happens. And this is a season team now.
Yeah.
Year 3 now. So we'll get to,
how many games they got in this season?
They're 5-5, I believe, or 5-6.
Well, yeah, let me take a look. Nope, they're 6-6, right at 500. We'll take that. Got to be here level on the field. But the team that they lost to, my New York Liberty, man, wow.
They're playing some basketball right now.
They are balling. It's going back to the days of Lobo and teaspoons, man. I'm telling you, it's a real situation in New York. I think they want to get back to dominance in women's basketball.
They have a chip on their shoulder.
They just don't do media. I don't see any of their players doing any promo. I don't see any of the New York Liberty in any of the WNBA promo. And then when I look at the record, the Liberty and the Sun, 12-1 for the Sun, 12-2 for the New York Liberty. And again, the Liberty yesterday beating the Aces here in Las Vegas. What was it, like 90 to 82? So an 8-point win on the road. I mean, everything is clicking with the Liberty. Are they front runners for the championship this year?
Well, they're showing that they should be right now. That's the argument that they're making. Connecticut is right there, stride for stride with them, but that's star power and how they can get things done. Connecticut is more of they get it done defensively and they kind of win slugfests.
Right.
New York can play however you want to play with them. They've got pieces, and that's just going to be dangerous. It's going to take a team that can counteract that, which there's a couple rosters like that. Seattle, very, very deep and very solid right now.
Yes. The
Vegas
Seattle Storm.
Minnesota's looking really, really potent.
Right. The Storm won on Thursday. They beat the Wings. I already told you guys the Wings were clipped. The Wings have been overcooked and undersauced. What's going on down in Dallas, man? That team stinks. And I literally like the uniform, like the jersey. I think it's a pretty cool logo. But just watching the way that they play basketball, I was shocked they even got to 84 points. It's like these ladies are just chucking it up at the basket, hoping that gravity pulls it through the net. What is going on down with the Dallas Wings?
They'll be okay. They'll probably be on the outside looking in this year, but they're missing Satu Sabali and Natasha Howard. She went down, I think, the first game of the season. So they're playing the season without two starters already. And to benefit from that is the young girl, Maddie Siegrist from Ohio State. I think she has the biggest jump in points per game last season to this season right now. So they're going to lose some games because they're missing some heavy hitters.
Right. When you got these rosters that aren't lining up. But let's go to the other rookie that is doing nothing. Stanford's Cameron Brink. Sparks stink, man. 79-95. Talking about those Seattle Storm. They beat them up on this past Tuesday. Now, these are just some of the games that we were going over. And I'm just looking at this whole structure of the teams that we're talking about. You look at what happened yesterday. The Connecticut Sun, as we were saying, they beat the Wings. 85-67. You know, the Liberty again beating the Aces. So going into today's game, you got the Sky versus the Fever. Let's get a quick talk about it. Rotation number 623. This is like
I'm excited. That's going to be great.
Wrestling. This is like a wrestling matchup. I know you were into it. Rotation number 624, Chicago Sky. They had the Rumble on the court last time in Chi-Town. The Fever at home, -2.5, -140. Another matchup between Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and another possible matchup between that young Kennedy kick. Go ahead.
Yeah, these are this is a great weekend offering. For one, we're going to get a good game. These two teams, you know, the things are changing slightly in Indiana. They've got some wins under their belt to the point where they're not a laughing stock right now.
Right.
They're only a game behind in the loss column of Chicago.
Right.
I think they're 4-8 and 4-10 or 4-9 and 4-10.
Yep.
So the last game, I'll pull that up in just a second. But right now, Chicago's trying to find themselves. They lost Liz Williams, but they do have Cardoso and Angel, which is working. I think Indiana gets this done though, because Aaliyah Boston just had the best week of her season so far last week, and they've really faced the gauntlet to start the season, and they've gotten some rest now.
Right.
And Chicago's still sort of putting some pieces together with their new batch. What's interesting is that, Angel Reese is looking like their best player night in and night out. Marina Mabry's playing some good ball, but they're guard heavy over there. I don't know. I think Indiana, since they were forced to kind of jump in the fire immediately, and they weren't even ready for half of those challenges, that they've found themselves a bit more so far. And I wouldn't be surprised if they put together some wins. It's a long season. Yeah,
they got to come up with something. Let's move into the 3 o'clock game again this Father's Day weekend. Shout out to all the dads here in Las Vegas. Rocking with JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, 107.1 FM, AM 1400, KSHP, VSX Digital Sports Network. Also coming up after my show, Dr. David Schoonover, the mind coordinator. You're going to want to stay tuned for that. So the reality is, when you talk about this other rookie, Los Angeles Sparks, rotation number 625. The Los Angeles Sparks on the road to those Atlanta Dream you were just mentioning, rotation number 626. Now the Sparks on that dog position, 5.5 on the road, plus 178. The Atlanta Dream, -5.5, -215. So then I go to the big board and I say, let me take a look at the standings. And I start looking and I say, okay, the Atlanta Dream, 5-6. All right, great. And then I start looking for the LA Sparks, and I just keep looking and I keep looking and I look and I see that the Sparks are 4-9. All right, so tough to bet on these two teams. I think this is two turds in a bucket. Bet on to see which one goes down first or which one floats. What say ye? Go ahead.
Atlanta has lost games to the Indiana Fever and the Washington Mystics.
The Mystics are 2-12, by the way. Go ahead.
At the same time, they've beaten the Las Vegas Aces.
Well, the Aces ain't doing too much right now anyway.
No, so it's just you're getting some of that polarism from that team alone. The Sparks, I told my brother the other day I liked them covering against Minnesota, and they did. And De'Erica Hamby is playing out of this world. She is legitimately a top 10 player in the league right now. And Ryan Howard's Atlanta's best player. She's going to help them get to a certain spot. She's got to figure out the fouling. Look, JB, I'll show you my fantasy roster. I've got all these ladies on there. And Brink's a baller. She's a baller. She gets it done statistically. It's so impressive with steals and blocks. But she's a rookie. She's got, she's fresh out there, and she's in the wrong spot.
Well, she's not on the dance floor. She's on the basketball court, so I would expect a little more coordination. JB, the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. When I get back from the short commercial break, more with Darrell Harris. Going to talk a little bit of Major League Baseball, man. Yesterday I gave you that pick. The New York Mets were able to take it down over the San Diego Padres, but unfortunately the Philadelphia Phillies... Man, the Phillies cheesesteak was a little bit moldy on the bread. We'll talk about it when we get back. Let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big boy, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express, giving you that grease. It's time to wake up and win the weekend. You're listening to the boss of the big boy, JB the Ticket, giving you that grease. Join me every Saturday and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific time for the live action on Vegas Scoreboard Express on KSHP 107.1 FM and AM 1400. Dive into the game day with my in-depth analysis, expert predictions, and winning plays from the sharpest minds in sports betting. It's more than just placing bets. It's about securing wins. Head over to jbtheticket.com and be sure to tune in to KSHP this weekend from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific time to ride the winning wave with VSX. Tune in and get your money back from the sports book. All money, all sports, no bull. Miss the live show? Subscribe to Vegas Scoreboard Express on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, and wherever you enjoy your favorite podcasts and radio listening. Skip your cable bill this month and join the action with JB and Fubo TV. Get 7 days free, 15% off your first month. No credit check, no deposit, no installation hassle. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. Sign up, download the app, and start watching games.
Enjoy being a subscriber after the first month. Easy cancellation anytime. Regional restrictions apply. Sign up at VegasScoreboardExpress.com.
Yo. You're in the mix. World's finest, man.
You are rocking with the hottest. Put your hands up for the boss. The Mix Master is live. Get ready.
You're listening to the boss of the big boy, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express, giving you that grease.
There you go, back at you live Father's Day here, KSHP 107.1 VSX Digital Sports Network. Your host and boss of the big board, JB the Ticket. Want to talk a little bit of baseball of this morning with Darrell Harris. We got Scotty Beam 'em Up Webb on sabbatical, East Coast Sports Investors at MLBDaily.com. You're going to want to follow him on the Twitter bird at Webby20MLB. Says he's got a new show coming out, so I'm sure there's going to be some cash to be made with him. So again, check out Scotty Beam 'em Up Webb, and you can always find him on my website at jbtheticket.com. So let's get into a little bit of this baseball here, Darrell. I've been taking a look at the National League, the St. Louis Cardinals, a game below 500. I'm rebuilding my betting board in baseball. Some of the early teams are getting into that mid-season skid here. And as we roll into All-Star game season for baseball, we got to look at where these records are, because the key for me in baseball is streaking. Right now, you got to streak, all right? If you're going to win, I need you to put together 3-4 wins in a row for me so I can anchor the team. But as far as keeping teams on the list for more than 2 or 3 months, I'm not so sure. There's a lot of parity in a baseball. So we want to go into that first game here, rotation number 901. This one is 1:05 p.m. Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific. You got the St. Louis Cardinals with Miles Mikolas on the mound going up against the Chicago Cubs. Jameson Taillon, rotation number 902, minus 130. These are two very evenly matched teams here. So my question is, how do we find money, Darrell? If you want to go with the road dog, I like the St. Louis Cardinals. They have the ability to score late. They've got some decent infield play. But these Chicago Cubs, man, give credit where credit is due. They were heading to the toilet, but they were able to pick it back up and get themselves together. Only 3 games under 500 run line, and the record is the same at 34-37. So as the bats go, they go. How do you see this one maybe playing out? Where do you like the money?
You know, it's looking for something to kind of differentiate these teams because they are close to each other in the standings.
Right.
It's still a feel amount, like what have you proven to me yet? You know,
right.
We're almost halfway where we have a nice sample size. But I would probably lean with Chicago's home record. They're 5 games. They're 19-14 at home.
Mm-hmm.
And St. Louis, a couple games below 500 on the road. That's decent.
Right.
And just kind of see this one playing the numbers in that one. If I'm trying to find something to split the difference on these two teams.
Well, yeah, and this being a division matchup too, this early in the gameplay here, you talk about teams with similar records. You got the Cardinals right now in second place in the National League Central, right under those Milwaukee Brewers who are still cashing for me. But the Cubs with a win today can move into that spot and even overtake the Reds. This is a very strong division, National League Central. You got the Pirates kicking down there in the bottom of that division. Still strong. Super rookie Paul Skeens is kicking everybody's butt, throwing the heat, 33-37. I like the Cubs today, too. They should be in a dog position. I'm going to buy them back to plus 1.5, maybe plus 2, depending on how I can get that line adjusted. I think they'll be able to win by 1 and lose by none. I don't want to see them get into a slugfest because the Cardinals do have the stronger batting average. Let's move into another game that has been quite interesting. Let's talk about it yesterday because I took a loss. Philadelphia Phillies. Shout out Linwood, Hard Rock, Hamilton. Happy Father's Day to you. Defender of the youth. You talk about these Philadelphia Phillies, rotation number 923. They got Zach Wheeler on the mound today, still in the dog position, though. 47% of the money, plus a 112, going back up against those Baltimore Orioles who put in some work yesterday. Rotation number 924. Not expensive if you want the Baltimore Orioles. Minus 132. You got Corbin Burns on the mound. When you go to Zach Wheeler, however, he's one of the better pitchers that we've seen come on the mound this year for Philadelphia, keeping them very, very strong in the early game play. All they've got to do is keep him on that strikeout movement. He's getting around 6.5 strikeouts within the first 5 innings of the game. So I may be looking at a first 5 inning type game, but I like the Phillies today. I don't think the Baltimore Orioles are going to run away with this interleague series. Go ahead, Darrell, your thoughts.
It's similar to what we're seeing out west with the Dodgers. It's a battle of two good teams, where the Phillies right now, their record's great. And, you know,
47-23 cash in your pocket.
They're regularly minus 250
right,
as money line favorites. And same with the Dodgers. They're regularly minus 230, minus 220. And they're facing teams who are also always favored, but since they're going against powerhouses, it's, you know, the Royals were plus 190 yesterday, and it's, easy victory, 7-2. So Baltimore has success with Philadelphia, and they're on their level as well. You're almost forced to take the dog in that position because it's like, wait, why are we writing off this team that's a couple games behind them and it's capable of playing just as well? Or I got to take advantage of them being in a dog position.
There you go.
Rarely, since they are.
That's what I'm saying. You got to stick with my dog here, the Philadelphia Phillies. Zach Wheeler, he's got to get it done. Give me that strong 3 to 5 innings to get started, and we'll make it happen. Let's go to the win that I had yesterday. New York Mets, rotation number 906. They got my Dago Padres out there again. Rotation number 905. They got Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres. The dog is back on the Mets side. Tyler McGill is on the mound for the New York Mets. I kind of like what the Mets are doing. If they are only 5 games under 500 and playing a 500 team like San Diego, it's either feast or famine with them. Tough, and again, tough to get runs with the San Diego Padres. If they're able to put themselves in a position to say, look, we're at home, there's nowhere to go but up. The locker room has seemed to have improved ever since they got rid of the haters, because the Mets could have just packed it in, but they're fighting, they're scrapping. 5 games behind 500. Every game counts now for them to include themselves in the wild card chase, getting towards that all-star break, and possibly maybe pick up a few trades and a few drop downs to the lower divisions. But I'm liking what I'm seeing out of the Mets right now. They're playing very hard as a dog. Go ahead.
Yeah, and San Diego, I don't know, man. You just never know what you're going to get out of them. And in case, they got plenty of talent in the rotation, and that inconsistency is pretty much a wash. Their record is that. Mm-hmm. They dropped the whole series to the Angels. They dropped a whole batch of games to the Rockies. They, have beaten some good teams, but haven't seen them prove much at all either. And they're also a team that's usually treated favorably in the lines, or,
right.
You don't want to feel like you're a sucker for taking them.
There you go. Now, you talk about these two pitchers here. Dylan Cease, 3.36 ERA. Tyler McGill, 3.51. They've got this one priced at 7. Do you want to maybe buy it back to 6 and take the over? Should be able to get at least minus 165 with that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't catch which game that was.
That's what we're still talking about, the Padres and the Mets over at Citi Field. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I over under, I usually stay away from.
Oh, I have, man. Well, you know what?
No, I was playing over, but it's my gut. I just you can go 50-50. I think they usually have it right where it's supposed to be.
Right, because sometimes the Padres can get into those scoring lulls and go 3-4 innings with a donut on the board. Now you got to get them to get bat happy at the end. I still like the Mets in the dog position today. Win by 1, lose by none. So let's move down to another game yesterday that we did talk about. Again, shout out my main man, D Sports Ledger, Daniel Cameron. They postponed this game, but the Twins and the Athletics are back on the mound today. Do you think that with these two players, again, terrible ERAs, you got Jay Sears on the mound for Oakland, 4.02. You got Ober on the mound for the Twins, 5.3. 8.5 is the total. Again, I'm going to buy this one back to 7.5 and take an over here. I think it's going to be a bat happy type day. And with that extra day off, some rest, I think it'll be a little bit sharper on the mound from the pitching as well. But again, they're not really pitching to strike people out. They're going to be pitching to send home runs and some base hits. I'm just seeing it because the Athletics, again, at 26-46, when they win, they play well. I think back to when they beat the Rockies that day, and the Rockies were doing well in the extra innings, getting 4-5 ahead, and then the Athletics just kept getting lucky. The Twins, however, a much better team at home, but could be a little bit soggy field, extra rest. I just like this one to go over. I think the boys are going to want to get out there and play some baseball. Go ahead.
Well, we've seen the A's play better away from the Coliseum in Oakland.
Right.
They're playing in an actual, lively environment. It's not that sort of monkey on their back of what's going on over there. So yes. I think we might get that today. I think they might cover the 1.5. If you want to make it 2, make it 2 if you can, because they do lose a lot of close ones. They can put runs up, and I think that they'll just play a little more free on the road.
Hopefully. They got to do something, man, because the Oakland Athletics, if they're going to come here to Las Vegas, we want to see some cash in your pocket. Let's round it out with the baseball talk, then we'll take a short commercial break. Everybody's favorite, America's 2 favorite teams, Yankees and the Red Sox. The Yankees are quietly and confusingly running baseball right now. A 50-23 record. I haven't seen it. Every time I take them, it's a loss. It's 7-8 innings with no runs scored. They're going up against those Boston Red Sox today. Shout out my main man, Jeff Dawson. Happy Father's Day to you out there in Cape Cod, King of Cape Cod, East Coast sports investors. You got the Red Sox here, plus a 115 on the mound. You got Crawford, 3.47 ERA going up against Stroman, who has been doing work at 6-2. and 2.82 ERA for the New York Yankees. However, total is 9. Who's going to score in this game? Because, like I said, if I want to go with the Yankees, it's going to cost you about $175. Not a bad price, but it's not a price that I really want to go with. But the Boston Red Sox, 1 game over 500, and their pitching right now has not been that good. How can you make money here? Do you want to buy that total back? I know you don't like totals, but do you just want to take the Yankees here and say, forget about it? Go ahead.
That's what it might be, because it's some of that New York Liberty effect when that team's coming hard out of New York City and you're just like, ooh-wee. I think the Yankees right now are trying to send a message to teams that, nah, this is a high-caliber Yankee team that we have on our hands, and we're going to send that message, repeatedly. They've only dropped 2 games in a row a few times on the season. I don't think Boston's the team that's going to make them drop 2 in a row, and they gave them the game yesterday. Cool. Let's go pull off another 3-game maybe win streak.
There you go. New York Yankees, man. They seem to be legit. I'm going to go ahead and bet them today. I'm going to see if they can win me back some money. When we get back from this short commercial break, guys, we're going to round it out, finish out the show. Best plays of the day. Again, happy Father's Day to all you dads out there listening. All you kids, be good. Listen to Papa Bear today, because he's paying your bills. And all you pops out there, lockdown soldiers, our military first responders not able to be home with your kids today. We know that you still love them and you're still a dad. If you made them, you got to pay. And if you are paying, congratulations, and keep doing what you do. Listen to me, JB the Ticket. I'll get that money back in your pocket. Let's get it.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express, giving you that grease.
Skip your cable bill this month and join the action with JB and Fubo TV. Get 7 days free, 15% off your first month. No credit check, no deposit, no installation hassle. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. Sign up, download the app, and start watching games.
Enjoy being a subscriber after the first month. Easy cancellation anytime. Regional restrictions apply. Sign up at VegasScoreboardExpress.com.
JB the Ticket and Darrell Harris back at you live here, Vegas Scoreboard Express. It's Father's Day. Dropped a little bit of grease for you here. Again, thank you so much for John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook, for stopping by the big board. And all of you out there listening in Las Vegas and around the world, KSHP 107.1 FM, AM 1400, KSHP.com, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, JBTheTicket.com. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in and spending your morning with us. So, Darrell, I'm running out of grease here. Give me one of your best plays of the day so we can get you back to your kiddo. Shout out little baby Bassie, and you can enjoy your Father's Day. Go ahead.
I mean, I have to give a shout out to, again, De'Erica Hamby's prop bets. She has a double-double in every game of the season except for 2. And so that's 12 or so double-doubles already consecutively, and it's built into the formula. She's playing out of her mind. Let's play some basketball tomorrow night. Hopefully we get a Game 6.
He's going with the Dallas Mavericks. That's his best play of the day, telling you to wait today. Enjoy your Father's Day. Cry tomorrow, because you know that's what's going to happen if you're going that way. My best play of the day, guys, take my New York Mets again. They're in the dog position at home. I don't think San Diego's going to be able to get it done with Dylan Cease on the mound. And if you're scared of the side, buy it back to a 7 and take the over. Again, guys, thank you so much for listening. Darrell Harris, thank you so much for stopping by the big board. And again, you guys enjoy your Father's Day. Go out to the sports book, have a great barbecue, and most importantly, get some money.
JB the Ticket. You're listening to the boss of the big ball, Vegas Scoreboard Express, giving you that grease.